Fair Use Act Disclaimer.
Yeah, it's Moana, baby.
What's up mga kapitids? It's me again, Leandro Miguel, and I will be with you for the second part of the ankle and foot episodes of Moy's Anatomy. So for today, I will be discussing with you the moina of the remaining compartment of the leg muscles, which is the posterior compartment. So, without further ado, let's begin. In the last episode, the bones for the ankle and foot have already been discussed to you. So I'm just going to give you a quick recap to refresh your mind a bit. So basically, you have 2 bones located at the leg and 18 bones located at your foot. So these are your tibia and fibula for the leg and your tarsals, metatarsals, and phalanges for your foot. The tibia or the shin bone is the larger, medial, weight-bearing bone of the leg, while your fibula is parallel and lateral to your tibia, but it's considerably smaller. I have a mnemonic for the location of the tibia and fibula. So we have the mnemonic LALA, meaning that the fibula is lateral. Again, LALA, meaning that the fibula is lateral. Fibula is lateral. For the bones of your foot, you have your tarsals, metatarsals, and phalanges. So the tarsals are at the proximal region of the foot, your metatarsals are at the intermediate region, and the phalanges are the distal component of the foot. Another mnemonic I want to share with you is that for you to easily remember the tarsal bones. So we have the mnemonic, tall centers never take shot from corners. Again, tall centers never take shot from corners. So, first letter of each word corresponds to the first letter of each tarsal bone. So, we have the tarsal bones talus, calcaneus, navicular, third cuneiform, second cuneiform, first cuneiform, and cuboid as your tarsal bones. So, again, in order for you to remember, let's repeat the mnemonic. Tall centers never take shot from corners. Now that we have recalled the background about the bones, it is time for us to talk about the posterior compartment of your leg muscle. The last compartment of your leg muscles is the posterior compartment. Muscles located in this area are divided into 2 subgroups. So we have the superficial group and the deep group. So let's talk about first the superficial group of the posterior compartment. There are 3 muscles that are located, which are your gastrocnemius, plantaris, and soleus. These superficial muscles share a common tendon of insertion, which is the calcaneal tendon, which is the strongest tendon of the body. These muscles are also called your calf muscles. The first muscle is the gastrocnemius. It has 2 origins, which are at the lateral epicondyle of the femur for its lateral head and the medial condyle of the femur for its medial head. This muscle is the main plantar flexor of the ankle joint. This muscle is also a powerful knee flexor. The gastrocnemius is the most superficial muscle and the most prominent of the calf. Next for the calf muscles is your soleus. The soleus, which lies deep to the gastrocnemius, is broad and flat. It originates from the shafts of the tibia and fibula and inserts at the posterior calcaneus. It plantar flexes the ankle joint, same with the gastrocnemius. The last muscle for this muscle group is the plantaris. The plantaris is a small muscle that may be absent. It runs obliquely between the gastrocnemius and the soleus muscle. Its origin is from the lateral supracondylar ridge of the femur, and its insertion is at the posterior calcaneus. The same with the other calf muscles, it plantar flexes the ankle joint. Also, it flexes the knee like the gastrocnemius. Next to be discussed is the deep muscles of the posterior compartment. The deep muscles of the posterior compartment are the popliteus, tibialis posterior, flexor digitorum longus, and flexor hallucis longus. Let's start off with the popliteus muscle. The popliteus is a triangular muscle that forms the popliteal fossa. Its origin is from the lateral condyle of the femur, and its insertion is at the posterior shaft of the tibia above the soleal line. The popliteus assists in knee flexion, and it's a primary internal rotator of the tibia in a non-weight-bearing position. Next is the tibialis posterior. The tibialis posterior is the deepest muscle in the posterior compartment. It lies between the flexor digitorum longus and flexor hallucis longus muscles. Its origin is from the posterior shafts of the tibia and fibula and from the interosseous membrane, and its insertion is at the navicular tuberosity and other adjacent bones. This muscle's function is to plantar flex and invert the ankle. Moreover, it plays an important role in stabilizing the medial longitudinal arch. The flexor digitorum longus muscle originates from the posterior shaft of the tibia and inserts at the base of the distal phalanx of the second to fifth toes. This muscle is smaller than the flexor hallucis longus muscle. This muscle's action is to flex the second to fifth toes, first at the distal interphalangeal joint, and then flexes the proximal interphalangeal joint, and finally flexes the metatarsophalangeal joint. It also aids with the plantar flexion of the foot at the ankle. And for the last muscle of the deep group, which is the flexor hallucis longus, it starts from the posterior shaft of the fibula and inserts at the base of the distal phalanx of the big toe. It flexes all the joints of the big toe as the foot is raised from the ground. It also aids in plantar flexion at the ankle joint. Now for the nerve supply. The posterior compartment of the leg muscles is innervated by the tibial nerve. The tibial nerve is the larger terminal branch of the two main muscular branches of the sciatic nerve. The root of this nerve is from the anterior parts of the L4 to S3 rami. Injury to the tibial nerve can cause motor loss and altered sensation and pain to any of the areas it supplies, depending on site of involvement. And that is it for today's episode. Don't worry guys, we will meet again. We have prepared a lot for the upcoming episodes, so better stay tuned next week. If you have questions, you can message it to our Facebook page, Movement Expert Society, or comment it down below. I hope you guys learned a lot in this episode, so stay tuned for more Moina lessons. Wishing you all good luck in your studies. See you in the next video. Bye!